Hey there, banjo pals. I'm going to show you a tune called Black Eyed Susie, and it's one that I usually play on fretless banjo. I played on that gourd banjo back there, and I recorded this one with my father Ken on our album Stony Run, which came out in 2020. And it's a super fun tune to play on fretless. It's a lot of fun to play on a fretted banjo as well. I first heard this tune from the great Dan Gellert, one of my big banjo heroes. If you aren't familiar with his playing, I strongly recommend you check out his groovy and funky style. And I love playing this one. It's a great tune that's pretty common in jams. It's probably a slightly deeper cut, at least this version of the tune. And we'll walk through it here. I'll play the tune, and then we'll go through each part. There are 3 parts in this tune, and then I'll play it nice and slow so you can play along at the end. I'm in open G tuning, so that's G, D, G, B, D. All right, here we go. This is Black Eyed Susie. There you go, Black Eyed Susie. All right, let's learn it. Here's Black Eyed Susie broken down piece by piece. This tune has 3 parts. Let's start with the A part, and it has a lot of bluesy licks. We're getting a lot of these notes that are in between the typical notes of our scale. So there are a lot of cool opportunities for slides and some really funky little lines. So here's the beginning. We're starting with one of my favorite sounds on the banjo. That's a 2 to 3 slide on our 2nd string. I love that dissonance and then that chorus effect. 2 to 3 on that 2nd string, and those top 2 strings are the same note, both D at this point. So slide, and then just a regular strum, just a ditty at the end. And then we play a drop thumb. So open 1st string, and then our 1st fret on the 2nd string. So that's open 1st string, 1st fret, 2nd string. And then open on our 2nd string, just a regular bum. So drop, thumb, and then open. Cool, so those 2 parts together. Your fingering's important here. I use my middle to slide, and then my index for that 1st fret. And then we go into a hammer-on with our ring finger. And the reason why we're using our ring finger on the 2nd fret here is because we're going into a C chord. So normally we would do a hammer-on the 2nd fret with our middle finger, but that doesn't help us get into our C chord position. So I'm using my ring finger, just like that, for 2 bum ditties. So hammer-on, ditty, bum, ditty. So the first 2 parts, here it goes. And then the ending lick, we're starting on that 3rd fret on the 3rd string. This is sort of a bluesy note in between typical notes of our scale. Sliding backwards, 3 to 2. And then open 3rd string, followed by our thumb as the drone. And then same thing, but on our 4th string. So 3 to 2 on the 3rd, and then on our 4th string, 3 to 2. And then here's the ending. This is a pretty groovy little lick. So what I'm doing here is a hammer-on, open to 2 on that 4th string, and then I'm taking my finger off and doing drop thumb 3 to 4. Now, one thing about doing drop thumb here on these inside strings, the 3rd and 4th, make sure your hand's nice and curled. You've got your thumb coming in at an angle, not too flat, but nice and open so that your thumb can dig into those strings. And when I pick with my thumb here, I'm really trying to grab that 4th string with a nice strong sort of thunk, so that when I play that drop thumb, it has a nice punch to it. Maybe not quite that punchy. There it is, that extra pop. Instead of just, which sounds fine, it's nice to get this subtle thing. Hear how that has an extra kind of thunk to it, as opposed to, and then if you dig in a little bit harder, it's a subtle difference, but I really like those little accents you can put in on drop thumb on those syncopated offbeat notes. So cool, so those last 2 phrases, the slide, here it goes. Again. Cool, here's the whole A part. 3, 4, here we go. Nice. On that very last note, the ditty, I'm usually just playing my 1st string, and that's a good opportunity for the cluck, where your middle fingernail hits the string first and your index fingernail catches the string. Elsewhere on the channel there's a tutorial on how to do the cluck. Look through there are a couple of places. In the Variations workshop is a relatively recent post. Gives you that nice cluck. That's a great rhythmic punch. Okay, that's the A part. Let's move on to the B. Here's the B part of Black Eyed Susie, and it borrows some of the pieces we used in the A part. So we're going down back to our 3rd string, just a regular ditty, and if you want to use a cluck there, that's nice. 3rd, and then we're going to go the same slide we used earlier, 3 to 2 on that 3rd string. And then we're going to do this cool line where we go. I'll play that again. Super groovy. Hammer on, open to 2 on that 4th string. And then we're going to do drop thumb, 3 to 4. That nice thumpy drop thumb. And then we're doing this slide, 3 to 4 on our 3rd string. Okay, so one more. Sweet. Okay, here's the first chunk of that B part. Bum ditty, 3rd string, slide, hammer on, drop thumb, slide again. So let's do that a few times. Now if you can't get the cluck on those, just doing a little strum of the 1st string or even just a ghost strum is fine. The cluck is just a nice accent, but it's not necessary. And then the ending is the same from the A part. How convenient. So many of these old-time tunes are like that, sharing pieces all over the place. It's great. Okay, Here's that whole B part, nice and slow. 3, 4, here it is. One more. Last time. Awesome. That's the B part of Black Eyed Susie. Here's the C part, the final part of Black Eyed Susie, and it's perhaps the most unique part of the tune. It has this really cool rhythm, and we'll break it down. You'll get it. It might take a moment though, because you really have to think about how it sounds, and then we'll dive into how it actually works in your hands. So let's listen to it a couple times. Here's the C part. Hopefully you're hearing that rhythm, this pattern. Bum, 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 bum. That's the rhythm that we're going to hone in on here. And with Clawhammer, and the way our hand always moves in and out, we have to keep that movement going and learn how to use our index and thumb creatively here to get that dum, bum, 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 ba-dum kind of rhythm. So it's very doable. It's just takes a little bit of rewiring of how we think about Clawhammer. So here's the beginning. We're sliding with our index finger 2 to 4 up to that 4th fret on the 3rd string. So 2 to 4. And then you're using your ring finger to play the 5th fret of the 1st string. So slide and then 5 on your 1st string. And then you do that 4th fret of the 3rd string again. And then back to your 1st. So that first measure of this is pretty straightforward. Slide, 1st, 3rd, 1st. And then you're landing on the 5th string, but you aren't plucking the 5th string yet. And you'll see why. We're going to use the 5th string as a melody note in a moment. So slide, 1st string, 3rd string, 1st string. Then we're going to go back to our 3rd string, and now we're going to play the drone, but this time it's a melody note. So usually the 5th string is just kind of backup, but here it's actually the note of the tune. So let's see if we can get that far. Slide, 1st, 3rd, 1st. And then we're going to let our hand hit the head of the banjo, a ghost strum, and our thumb is going to land on that 3rd string, still in this position with our 4th fret down on that 3rd string. And then you're going to pick up. So you go. So you'll notice that my arm is always moving in and out. I'm not doing anything unusual with my arm to get these notes. I'm still just moving in and out. So that head tap is immediately followed by that drop thumb on that 3rd string, 4th fret. And then when I come back down, the final note, I hit that 1st string, 5th fret again. So your left hand is basically staying the same the whole time after you do the slide. So just that last measure. And then we'd follow it with a ditty, like a regular strum. So try to just get this rhythm. So it's the ghost strum into the drop thumb, that's the critical part. So that's the first bit, just playing the 3rd and then the 5th. Hit the head, thumb lands on that 3rd string, and then you go back to that 1st string for a bum ditty. So that whole phrase. Ah, isn't that cool? Super groovy. it because it really helps us as a clawhammer player break away from just that typical bum diddy bum diddy bum diddy rhythm, and we get a really cool rhythmic pattern that a fiddler might be using. It's really neat. Okay, here's the last little bit. So I'm doing a hammer on 5 to 7. Now if you can't quite get that hammer on 5 to 7 with your pinky and your ring finger down on that 5th fret, that's a tough stretch. You could actually switch to your index finger on that 5th fret once you finish this phrase. That might be easier, so hammer on 5 to 7. Either way you do it, it's 5 to 7, and then a pull off, 5 to open. So 5 to 7 hammer on, pull off, and then a backward slide, 3 to 2 on that first string, so, and then open into a drop thumb, 1st fret, 2nd string. A lot of notes there. And then the ending. Nice little bluesy lick at the end. So that's 2nd string, 3rd string, drop thumb 2 to 3, and then a backward slide 3 to 2 on that 3rd string, followed by a regular bum ditty. So you can do a cluck at the end as well. So that whole last phrase. Now I will say, you don't necessarily need to play that tricky of a melody at the end. That's the full melody, but sometimes I'll go and maybe drop a melody beat or two, especially if I'm playing a little faster. You could go basically you just have to get from this 5th fret to that open 3rd string. And there's a lot you can do in between. There are a lot of ways you can end that, as long as you get from up here to here. And I would encourage you to be creative and try to come up with your own unique sort of bluesy ending. Any note is fair game. Give it a shot. Use your 3rd fret. Slide into a note. Slide up, slide back. Use pull-offs. A good opportunity for some improvisation here at the end of this tune. Okay, so that whole C part sounds like this. Okay, let's try to play it together. Just the C part. Here it is. 3, 4. Starts with that slide. Awesome. Let's play the whole tune. Now that we have all the parts down, let's play through it nice and slow. A part twice, B part twice, C part twice. Black Eyed Susie. Here it goes. 1, 2, ready, go. go, Black Eyed Susie. Nice work.